If Australia brings in the exact type of digital ID as the UK, is that a bridge too far? Is that like, no, we're not doing it?
And that's actually one of the things that gets me off of politics that I don't want to focus on too much, is because it just becomes...
I think we should move all of our superannuation over to Bitcoin, right? You can't hit that on someone in your relationship day one of you discovering Bitcoin.
This is why I'm not fully involved in anything, right? Because superannuation, wherever we have that, like you said, it's not 100% safe like everybody says it is. Bitcoin's not 100% safe either. Like, there's all this stuff about supercomputers coming out that could just destroy stuff. But our counter to that too, the supercomputers come out, they're going to wreck your bank accounts and all that, and super as well.
Well, they're probably going to attack nuclear codes before they care about people's stupid Bitcoin.
I'm just saying there's a million different scenarios.
I'm Matthew Fraser, and this is Crypto Collective. After making millions with Amazon and e-commerce, I realized that if I was starting again today, crypto would be my first choice. I'm here to help you take your first steps and build real wealth. Ready to set yourself up for life? Let's go. Hey guys, in this episode of Crypto Collective, I brought in my good friend Matt, and I want to dive deep into his life. Why? Because he's going to resonate with so many people right now. He's actually made the transition from moving interstate all the way from the Socialist Republic of Victoria all the way to Queensland, which is one of the better states right now. And also what has been his journey in the crypto space, namely Bitcoin. So Matt, welcome.
Oh, thanks, Matt. I appreciate you having me on. Yes, I've escaped the socialist state of Victoria, but I didn't know that until right now.
Until I just told you?
Yes, thank God.
Yeah, well, it is the socialist state of Victoria, hence all the taxes, like the bedroom taxes and all this sort of rubbish they want to bring in.
Yeah.
But from the outset, Matt, tell us, what do you do for a living?
At the moment, I'm sort of all in on my YouTube channel. I had a business running IT security. That business is still going. I sort of sold out of that to go all in on my YouTube channel. Which is AI DIY Tech, or the website's aidiy.tech.
I'll leave a link in the notes.
Excellent. Put it in the description and everything. Plug the crap out of it.
Go and give him a sub, everybody.
And I sell merch and all that stuff too. But what we do is, what I do, I noticed it was a growing use of AI music. People are putting their songs out and everything. And I sort of wanted to form a community around that AI music. And I do 4 videos a day per week. On YouTube, I have a crew that I sort of work with, pump out the content. I do lives every single week, playing people's music, helping them create music videos, just talking about AI music news.
Working with Taylor Swift.
I'm sure it's coming. It was
She's going to pick up the phone and call you soon.
We're going to overtake Taylor Swift for
Everyone's
sure.
Everyone's going to ask me too, like, are you from America or are you from Canada?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Which one? Pick one.
My birth country is America, but all my socials now have a Canadian flag on them.
Oh, yes, really? Is that done deliberately?
What's that?
You don't want to be associated with the US? Is that the idea?
It's kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah. A bit sneaky.
Yeah.
Look, I want to touch on that because about you, the way you work, because right now there's so many people that want to obviously move. Now you've just proved the point that you can move from Victoria all the way to Queensland, right? The Gold Coast, which is one of the nicest places in all of Australia.
Gold Coast, yeah.
Because you've got an online business, right? You've got an online business, which is the same thing that I've got, hence why I could easily move over to a place like Dubai, because right now I'm talking about getting the hell out of Australia, getting out of the government control. I know you love talking about that, and also the high taxes, and looking to actually move out, compound my wealth outside of Australia. But what's so interesting though is the point is that you've got an online business. How powerful has that been, I guess, in the move, just even interstate?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I know like the thing now tends to be to sort of look down on Australia and all that. But I think from my perspective, moving from the US, right, like you couldn't do anything. Like if you don't have health insurance by default, you know, if you're working a full-time job, you might have 1 or 2 weeks that you earn a year, and probably 1 or 2 sick days a year. So, you know, from my perspective, all that stuff is a bit of relief just being in Australia. If I were working a full-time job.
You love the socialist system in Australia.
Yeah, but you know what? You know, people live good lives, you know, and it's been said of one of our common denominator mentors is that you'd have to try really hard to suffer here. Right?
Yes.
You know, and that's good if you want to work full-time, but you're right. Like having my own businesses, like I said, I had my IT security business and I could operate that remotely. And now I have my YouTube stuff and I can operate that remotely. It's huge freedom. I can do it anywhere. Like I was set up originally in the home we owned in Victoria. Then we moved to a rental for 6 months prior to moving here because we had sold the house.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a studio set up in like a detached dwelling that I built myself in that house. Then I moved to the rental place. It's the exact same studio because it's just a room, right? And I had shelves and I could have
but
LED
it's in a
lights.
much better location. And of course, your daughter's going to a nice school.
But that was the rental. Then I moved here. It's the exact same studio because it's just a room, right? I can do whatever I want.
Can you explain that though, Matt, for people who are thinking about moving even from Victoria up to Queensland? And I speak to a lot of them. What was the exact process that you went through? And also, can you talk about, you obviously sold it for a lot of money in Victoria, got a much, what you're doing here and how you've allocated some of the funds?
So I guess, like we started talking about the move to the Gold Coast like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, quite a while ago. But like with most people, stuff starts off as talk, but I've never been talk. Like I've always thought, I'm not going to talk about someone or do something, but I was never at that stage. I wasn't really ready. Like Deb was ready, kind of. I think when I talked to it, she sort of pulled back a little bit. The conversation was always there, but I was involved in sporting clubs, and I felt like at the core, that's what was important to me, as well as some people that I knew and people that I could catch up with. And I thought things that I do that are important are involved with people that are there. And then after a while, I kind of sort of was disillusioned by some of that stuff, and the idea of moving, it became more of a reality, the idea of moving up here. And at a point where I thought, why do I really need to catch up? Are they going to miss me if I go or something? Do they really need me? A lot of the stuff that I established it so well that I could pass it on to anybody else. So I thought, I'm not really needed here. I don't really want to be here anymore. I hate the cold. Deb was like ready to go. My daughter, Brooke, with her school, we didn't really want to be in that school anymore. Like they looked after their good school at a whole, but there was things that we didn't like about it. So it was just time.
So things were just starting
to
line up.
Things were lining up. Yeah. It became realistic to go. Like Deb was ready. Brooke was ready. I was ready. And it was just go. And then people can be ready, but still not pull the trigger.
So what was the first step then? You just put the house on the market and then moved out?
Yeah, once you put the house on the market. But no, we waited till we sold, and then the settlement date was like 2 months. So we knew we had 2 months to get a rental.
Yeah.
So we got a rental. Well, we were planning on moving to the Gold Coast like as soon as we sold the house, but the sale took about a month and a half longer than we'd hoped, and it got close to Christmas. And we're like, you know what? It's going to be too hard to move at Christmas. We'll just stay here for another 6 months. We'll suffer through it. In that suffering, we found out we even more wanted to move to the Gold Coast because the house that we got was terrible. Because we had to get a place real quick, right?
Yeah. So whatever's on the market.
Whatever's on the market. We didn't want to pay a lot because it was just like, we're not going to be here for a long time.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what? It's cold here. There's no insulation. Even more so, let's just go to the Gold Coast. And it was good.
Okay. But you had visited the Gold Coast a few times to look around. A lot of times.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I probably made like 3 trips out here just to check it out. I went here specifically to check out schools with my daughter and my wife, and then some big storm happened, ripped away all the beach.
Yes, that's
all the appointments we had for the schools got canceled, and then we sort of went back. But then we came back again after that. And I came with just my daughter. We had school interviews and met him. And I'm glad we did that trip because at the time she was 11, and it can be really unsettling just to walk into a complete unknown as an adult, never mind as a kid, to a completely different area with no friends, anything like that. So
yeah. And how's Deb found things in the move too?
Yeah, good. For her, she said the other day when I heard her talk to her parents, she said it still feels like she's on an extended holiday.
Right. What I find though, Matt, is it doesn't matter whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's moving to another country or interstate, you might think that, okay, I'm ready to go, but then you've got a wife and, I have an amazing wife and 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And I have to think about them too. So I'm on this journey, even if I think about Bitcoin, right? I say to my wife, Paula, I think we should get some Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, because she doesn't know what I know, right? And I just expect her just to be like, oh yeah, let's just get some Bitcoin. Imagine what it was like though, months down the track, maybe even maybe in a year or two, when I said, I think we should move all of our superannuation over to Bitcoin, right? You can't hit that on someone in your relationship day one of you discovering Bitcoin, right? Even though I probably would have. So
that was like your plan,
Well, I think as I was building conviction, this is my point. As I'm building conviction, I expect my wife to also have just automatically the same conviction, but they don't.
Yeah.
And so you've got to bring them along on the journey, which I think in your case, bringing Deb along the journey to eventually move also translates to other things.
I mean, every relationship's different. Like she probably was the first one that floated the idea of moving to the Gold Coast, even though I'd been to the Gold Coast a few times. And, a lot of the stuff that I do she's on board with it before I am.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah. So the reverse. But
It's
same
the
thing.
reverse. Like she works full time for Telstra. She works remote as well, and she might just float an idea that maybe we should look into Bitcoin, and then I've got to spend months looking at watching videos and all that. And then I might sort of fall away, and there might be a video of you or a video of one of our like a similar people that when they go like, have you watched these videos? Okay, and I'll start watching. He's talking about this. Okay, so I got to spend time talking about going to this.
So let me ask you this then, Matt. When Deb came to you and said, hey, I think we should allocate to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, and said, we'll go watch this. What was
it was kind of like, it wasn't so much like we should allocate to Bitcoin. It was kind of like, I think we should learn about Bitcoin and should consider this. And I think we both arrived at the same time at the conclusion that we should invest heavily in Bitcoin.
Right. So it wasn't that long before you sort of like thought about it to when you actually pulled the trigger.
Yeah. I've been involved in cryptocurrency since like 2016, 2017. I was starting to learn about it then, but she's the one that really did the real big push towards crypto maybe about 2 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
And so tell us about what happened with the move then, because obviously you had a lump sum of money. And then how did you disperse that, I guess?
We've got over a third of our entire everything in crypto. Yeah.
Mainly Bitcoin?
Yeah, mainly Bitcoin. Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Yeah.
Well, as in like Ethereum or Solana?
I think we got that same investment going on with the AI Wealth Pro. We got that going on, and I've got my own Bitcoin stuff, my own safe, but I've also got shares. I'm not as dedicated to it as you, like 8,000% of my income. I'm not obsessed, but
have you got a Bitcoin hat though?
No, I don't yet. Unless you have one that you can give me later, and maybe some shoes. I don't really have a whole lot of branding around Bitcoin. And
who's going to your own?
Yeah, I'll stay in my lane. I'll stay in my lane.
Yes.
And have my own merchandise.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're allocating to different things.
Yeah.
And did you end up allocating as well? Because something that I've done, I always talk about, which is moving my superannuation over to Bitcoin within an SMSF. Was that something that you did as well?
We haven't yet. This is something we always talk about.
Okay.
I have raised it with my accountant. He said, yeah, we could pull the trigger on that if you want. That's not a problem. We just have to figure out if we want to do that. Like, this is something Deb talks about probably weekly. She'll bring it up that there's a danger.
The danger in not allocating? Or
no, there's just a danger in the companies that run the super stuff that they're falling over. Like, I actually had a big contract for one of the major, actually I have a stadium. I won't say who it is. Like, I had a major contract when I was doing IC security, the people that run the stadium over in the Gold Coast. But like I don't see the danger in it that she does, that it's going to fall over. I mean, crypto could fall over, I suppose, as well. And I know the government is doing things to consolidate the superannuation companies that aren't running so well, to have them combine and then piss off with the ones that are being run well.
Now, maybe is she talking about the, what was that? First custodian or something like that? Don't guys.
Yeah, I'm not an expert level on it either.
Red Shield maybe rings a bell. But anyway, it was a couple of funds that had people's superannuation, right? But they weren't, my understanding is they weren't superannuation companies per se. They were just funds that had people's superannuation. And financial advisors had told 12,000 Australians, hey, go and allocate your funds into this fund over here. Yeah, and it turned out the fund just went to shit.
Yeah, so they ended up being dickheads in the way.
Well, they bought Lamborghinis, so they got something out of it, I guess. But they screwed over 12,000 people.
Yeah, so now they're going to just flick it like, oh, this is something that you should have done your due diligence on. This is your fault or whatever.
I don't know, but here's the thing though: is the financial advisors, obviously they were getting remunerated for suggesting to go to XYZ company, right? And now you've got these 12,000 people that are just like no money. Can you imagine being 65, you're like, tomorrow I'm retiring, and then you just go onto your account, it's zero. I mean, it would absolutely be devastating to think that you'd worked your whole life ready to retire with a decent amount. I think one guy in particular had over like $1.5 million in this account. And so I guess this is what they say is the counterparty risk, right? Which is, we in Australia assume that when we've got our funds sitting in a superannuation company or just a company that looks after your superannuation, that everything's great and there'll be never any problems, right? Because we just think that. It's not very widely spoken about in the media. I mean, we don't even hear about this one anymore, which is only just recent, right? And so I guess by allocating to Bitcoin, if you are fully
this is why I'm
convinced,
this is why I'm not fully involved in anything, right? Because superannuation, wherever we have that, like that could, like you said, it's not 100% safe like everybody says it is. Bitcoin is not 100% safe either. Like there's all this stuff about supercomputers coming out that could just destroy stuff. But our counter to that too is supercomputers come out, they're going to wreck your bank accounts and all that and super as well. So
they're probably going to attack nuclear codes.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Before they care about people's stupid Bitcoin.
I'm just saying there's a million different scenarios that could basically, you know, it could just be, it could be devalued to the point.
Well, think about this though. And I think what you're talking about is quantum computing, right? And
I'm
not you know more about quantum computing than me, but my understanding is that
I know about quantum computing when I read about Bitcoin. That's it.
Right. When they said this could be an issue,
and also like conspiracy theories. Like I had someone that actually his interview is going to be released on my channel tonight, talking about Google had some quantum chip that went out and it was isolated. And it rewrote its own code and they couldn't figure out how. And the only conclusion to that was it was so smart it went back in time and rewrote its own code.
Oh, no shit.
The way they discovered it, I thought was fun. I thought, well, why would it give clues?
We could go back in time and buy Bitcoin.
Oh, we could. Oh my God.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe that's why it wants us to know, because it's giving you a
hint. Yeah, awesome.
Now everybody's going to be looking into that now. A quantum computer.
My point though is that from the people that I've listened to who are more experts in this space think that one, it's not even an issue for at least the next 5-7 years. And if and when quantum computers do get to a point where they can attack the network of Bitcoin, there will already be other computers that are out that will be able to
the blockchain
defend against.
The blockchain will have that protection in it or whatever.
And that's the thing is right now, the current blockchain of the network of Bitcoin has never been hacked. You cannot destroy it because there's so many nodes, but basic computers that make up the system. And you'd have to have, I guess you'd call a 51% attack, and you just simply can't do it. It would not make any sense though too, just on that point, if someone was to attack the network thinking they were going to steal the Bitcoin or something, then the price would drop. So their price of their Bitcoin would drop. And in order to attack the system, it would cost so much money, it would just be better just simply put that money into Bitcoin and then drive the price up because now you've taken more Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's disruptors that would just do it if they could do it, just do it just because. Yeah, that you're right. But like my point in all that is I don't have everything in Bitcoin. I have a large amount for our risk, I guess, comfort level.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. I think it's a lot more than what most people would have. It definitely is a lot more than what most people would have. A larger percentage of what most people would have I've got in it. But I've got, like I said, shares that I feel comfortable with. And I've got money in high yielding bank accounts. Leave me alone. I can do
so
what I want.
Everyone knows I've spoken to Matt about this. I don't know what he's thinking, but he's got
have a lot.
Cash sitting in bank accounts because what are you getting?
I'm getting like 5% or something like that. 5%. But it's not a huge, I don't have like
so basically the money's, look, it's better than doing like just sitting under the bed. You know what I mean? Because if it was sitting under the bed or the mattress, it would literally just be devaluing. At least you're trying to keep up with inflation, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's one.
Yeah.
But you keep that.
But
there,
it's a percentage.
Just liquid cash, just like rainy day money. Is that?
Yeah, rainy day was got to pay. Also, like if I want to buy more Bitcoin or if I want to put more money into AI Wealth Pro, I can do that.
So in your mind,
I just don't like to keep it in the stuff that's earning. Like I need to keep some money, right?
Yes.
So what I do is like, this isn't a strategy anybody. This is what like I'd
I'm
like to have a better
see how you see things.
Well, I mean, like I keep a certain amount of money there, and it's probably like not a small amount of money for rainy day or paying rent or whatever.
It's like a surplus fund,
whatever it is. But yeah, I just don't keep it. Like I just open when the introductory rate of the bank account ends after 6 months. I just open up a new account.
I just had an idea. You should do your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
On how to find the best introductory rates.
Yeah.
Right. People can just follow
just
you like 3%, 4%.
But you know, like you're talking about like half or 1% difference between just opening up a new thing and that thing.
Do you ever go into the bank and negotiate?
No, I don't. No. I don't because like it's all available online. I suppose I did when I first started doing this and it just does nothing. Right. And there's like the online, you have like your online bank accounts that have like a 3-month introductory thing like Rabobank and like whatever else is out. The amount of pain in the ass all that is when I need to be doing stuff on YouTube and I need to be figuring out stuff on Bitcoin is you only have so much time to learn all that stuff. So I do that because I don't want 1% or 0%. I just want the money that's in the bank. I want to be making at least 5%.
You should come into the crypto collective community more often.
Maybe I should,
and learn all the stuff that I put in there, which is absolutely free. You can find the the link in the show notes, of course, to come and join.
Yes.
Hey guys, real quick, if you've been wanting to earn passive Bitcoin but don't want to deal with banking regulations or technical setups, check out Mining Store. They help you buy and host ASIC miners in pro-grade facilities with no technical capabilities or infrastructure costs on your end. Just passive Bitcoin sent straight to your wallet. Use the link in the show notes to learn more. Now back to the episode. So what's the next step for you then, like in your wealth creation? Is it allocate more to, like, have you got like a DCA strategy, a dollar cost average strategy, where you're just putting like money in every single week, for example, or you just put the allocation in lump and then you're sitting back to see what happens?
I was doing that with shares. I was like, a certain amount I allocated every single pay I had to shares. No, I don't have that with Bitcoin at the moment. Right now, we just had a massive amount, like a lump sum going to that AI Wealth Pro. Mm-hmm. I would say we're definitely more than most people that would have invested into that strategy. I don't know if you want to give context. No, everybody knows. Yeah, cool. So yeah, we've done that. And right now it's just, my strategy is figuring that out because we're really new to that. Like funnily enough, like we went to a sales funnel for leverage trading months before we got involved in this. Cause I kind of sort of half knew. I kept seeing YouTube videos of leverage trading come up and leverage. And I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, what the frig is that? And then it would say, and I said, I have no freaking idea still. So we went to someone's funnel. We basically, Deb and I exchanged like death packs that we will not buy into whatever this
before you went in.
Before we went into AI Wealth Pro, it was a different thing.
Yeah.
It was a different thing altogether. Yeah. It was a face-to-face thing in Melbourne. And we said, if we do, then we're done, right? Like, so we're just going to go there and learn. So we spent the day, and it started off like going, we're here, we're going to sell you something at the end. We're like, yeah, we all know, right? Like, in that like bit of vulnerability, you're supposed to feel a bit more comfortable. But anyway, we learned a whole lot about leverage trading. So when the AI Wealth Pro stuff came out, like just by chance, like I understood to a point what leverage trading was. I understood the risk behind it. I was able to understand how they're sort of mitigating some of that risk. I understood it to a level, not like at a 10, probably like at a 4 or 5 or something like that. So now I'm just trying to really understand that and monitor that. And that's what I'm doing now is that part. Yeah.
So basically Matt and I in a trading program that you could be a part of too. However, it used to be a very small entry price, but now because there's so many people that are in it, they've capped it now at a minimum of 100,000 USD. So just to put it out there, I know that's a lot of money for a lot of people. It's giving on average 24% returns. You split the profit with the company and they invoice you for their share. It's also self-custody fund. So that's all I'm really going to say on it. If you want to know more about it, you can always reach out to me, send me a message directly. You're better actually just to come into my crypto collective community because I talk about it a lot in there. You can reach out to me in there and you can also find out if there's any more seats available. Maybe by the time you see this video, it actually might be done. But keep in mind, minimum 100,000 USD. So it's going to put a lot of people out anyway. So that's it's out there.
Hey, Matt, do you want to give it some context? No. Here's the context.
Well, you've said it so many times now. So it's like, okay, because everyone's going to because I'm going to get 1,000 messages now. Like, what was that thing he was talking about? Tell us.
Leverage,
there you go.
What's that? Now you can talk about leverage and all that stuff too.
So you did this little leverage trading thing and then you sort of figured it out and then decided not to do it. Yeah.
We decided ahead of time not to do it with them because, we thought, like, honestly, we had to talk. If we're going to do anything like that, we're going to do it through you, not some guy that we don't know. Right. So,
yeah. So what else are you guys doing then as far as investing goes?
I mean, we're always looking at Bitcoin.
When do you think you'll get obsessed?
No, man. Like, we seem to be talking on the phone a bit more, so it's probably not far off. Like you said,
have you orange pilled anybody else into Bitcoin?
You know what? There's people that Deb works with.
And have they disowned you?
Now, look. Here's the thing, right? Like we're involved in a pretty conservative family. Like as far as like investments, like you invest in superannuation, you do this, cut and dry. And then, I mean, I want to say, you want to talk about relatable. There's going to be people here that are the exact same as me. Like you asked me what I did for a living. Like I was honest about my YouTube. I do my YouTubing. To basically say that to people outside of people that I feel comfortable in saying that, it's tough. Talking about Bitcoin and all that, and just knowing you're going to get blowback, and people say like, "Geez, a risk and blah blah blah," and then the shots that people would take, like, and you know how they're talking about you behind your back, and the questions they ask, and and the questions they ask very much framed in "you're an idiot."
Yes,
so
yeah, and then you say, "Yeah, I know, it's totally crazy." But the thing is, I kind of relate to those people because I was there too.
Yeah,
I mean. all last decade when Bitcoin was, doing massive returns, I just wasn't even thinking about Bitcoin because I was just too focused on basically just living.
Yeah.
Making, I had a new business. We were obviously struggling to get the business up and running and just going through all this shit that other people go through.
Yeah.
So I had just no thought or concept to think, I'm going to allocate some money into this Bitcoin thing. I just completely ignored it. And maybe because I did ignore it, I just had an immediate default setting that was, it's a scam. I'd much rather buy property because you could touch property and you can see it. Even though right now I'm basically selling off heard this a million times now, dematerializing everything. Sold all the cars, the properties are going. That was the real estate agent, we just missed the call then. She's probably telling me, hopefully that everything's good. But, and just moving everything more into a digital aspect. 2 reasons though, Matt. One is, I think I'm getting ready to, if I want to move, I don't have to worry about all these other physical assets that are still in Australia. So have you thought about, because I started off with this, kind of pumping up the online business because obviously you can just pack up and move somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about maybe we need to move to a different location, like country?
Not in a serious way we haven't.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why it's like a dead in the water conversation for us at the moment. We only just moved to the Gold Coast, right? We have a 12-year-old daughter. We ripped her away from her like lifelong friends that she had like with Mother's Group when she was a baby. She's still like really good, tight friends, trusting with them, talks to them online, things. And now she's just starting to get settled into the Gold Coast. And she loves the school. Like the school that she's at, it's a private school. It's a small private school, only about 10 minutes from here, actually. We wouldn't want to sort of pull her out of that. I understand the tax implications.
The focus.
Stuff. Yeah, that's the focus at the moment.
Yeah.
Like we're going to pay a little bit more in tax, a lot more in tax.
But you also don't worry, which look, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think you're a person that doesn't worry about government overreach and government control. Am I right?
No, that's not true. Like I try not to be obsessed with it because I'm constantly trying to learn stuff and grow as a person and get better at, say, my YouTube and everything else.
Okay, let me just ask you this then. If Australia brings in the exact type of digital ID as the UK, is that a bridge too far? Is that like, no, we're not doing this?
Wait, what are you talking about? Which
like the UK right now is bringing in the digital ID, right? They just, Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the UK, literally announced a couple of days ago. So by the time this airs, maybe a few weeks ago.
I did hear about this.
Yeah, hear about it. I mean, it was all over social media, what have you. And he's talking about, look, he said, it is mandatory. You must have the digital ID if you want to work in this country. Now, how are they pitching it though? The sales is because we're trying to stop the boats coming in from France. I mean, come on, they've got a freaking Navy. They can send the Navy out there and blow them out.
That framing of stuff that like, look over here stuff, that's always pissed me off. And that's actually one of the things that gets me off of politics that I don't want to focus on too much is because it just becomes, I see what they're doing, both sides. I know you're particularly one side good, one side bad, but I just look on.
Well, no, I'm not. I mean, let me just touch on that too, because right now, for example, the Liberals in Australia are doing a rubbish job.
Yeah.
Like they're absolutely garbage. They should be holding Labor to account, particularly for unrealised capital gains tax on superannuation. I mean, they basically said nothing about that. And if they did, they should come out and say we're completely opposed to it. And if it does get brought in, we're going to trash that policy if we get back into government. The digital ID, which is basically through this over 16 issue, right, in Australia, the coalition should come out and say, we're opposed to that too, but the Brains don't say anything.
They did knock back that thing. The Liberals knocked back that thing straight up where it was like, we're going to decide what can be posted online or not. Like there was a thing, they defeated that. Like I think I wrote to my member when it was being proposed. And
that was like under some censorship.
Some censorship laws. So they do it. I think they're so afraid of taking a stand on anything like that because they keep freaking losing by so much. I think
that's the thing though, Matt. They have to take a stand.
I think they can take a stand, but not take a stand publicly.
They want to be like in the middle of the road.
Yeah, just let us get in. Let us get in. Then we'll know. Then you'll know what we've taken a stand on.
Basically. Anyway, it's useless.
Well, let's talk about the digital ID stuff. Like, I'm curious about that because, as far as I'm concerned, I've been digital ID since the 80s.
What I want to tell you then, it could come to a point like the digital ID system, which is under a social credit score, right? So if you know anything about how China operates.
And this was done on Black Mirror as well.
Absolute bejesus out of me. And it's so 1984 Orwellian.
Yeah.
It's not funny. Now, if you've read that book, you realize it's actually practically true and it was written like decades ago, right? Now, what it means though, if you've ever seen any of the clips going on in China, if you do something wrong, right, what the state considers wrong, you'll get your photo plastered across like a billboard in the city, and it'll say, Matt, he's bad, and it's going to be crossing it.
They did an episode of Black Mirror on this. It was all based on social media, right? And you walk into a coffee shop and they go, "Oh, you're bad," and you get a negative. And people at a certain social rating, at certain credit for, they can live in certain houses, they can be in certain neighborhoods, and then once you get a low enough social credit, people don't want to hang out with you because being around those people.
Yeah, well, now that you say that, if you don't support Bitcoin, you can't be in my neighborhood. You see, I love that system.
What percentage do I have to come clean on the percentage?
Yeah.
I said I go like 40%.
Maybe I need to bring them in so I can orange pill more people.
Yeah, true.
That'd be the thing.
That's true.
But no, on a serious note,
I feel very comfortable and I'm not sweating right now because I thought this is a friendly chat.
Yeah. So seriously, like it could literally get to the point where, you've met your carbon credits on airline travel, on filling up fuel in your car, right? Oh, you've had too much meat, so you can't buy that anymore, right? And there's nothing to stop the state from imposing restrictions on travel. Let's say you speak out against the government, right? Banned, blacklisted,
I mean,
it's pretty full on. Look what's happening in the UK.
Look what's happening in the US. If you speak out against the president, you could have a lawsuit against you. You could be kicked out of your career.
Speaking out saying you want him to die. I mean,
that's
there's, I don't agree with his policies. And then there's, I want him dead.
There's people that are talking about, I don't agree with his policies, that are taking constant shots at him and calling him an idiot. And the networks that are hosting those people are being threatened with lawsuits. So
but that's a lawsuit. That's not like we've.
But it's a government. But it's a government. He's in government, and he's.
Well, I don't know how
lawsuits.
it operates in the US, right? You obviously have freedom of speech there, and obviously you have the right to sue for defamation. I mean, even
he's
Macron,
a government official.
Macron is also suing someone from the US for defamation against his wife.
Let's just say, to the point of, yes, I agree with you, and I'm using that as an example, and I don't agree with it, and I don't think it should be done, right? So, I guess we're circling back to Bitcoin. Is you have your stuff in your Bitcoin safe, right? They can't touch that. That's in your safe. I've got that in my Trezor, whatever. Is that what you're eventually circling back to?
Well, I mean, we just touched on digital IDs, of course, and I certainly don't approve of it. And I guess, yes, that kind of does where it kind of comes to, is that self-custody of your money. Because under a digital ID system, state controlled, they could say, Matt, we don't like you, what you said, or you did something wrong. Freeze your bank accounts, right? And now we've already seen this. Even I'm not even sure if they have a digital ID in Canada, but they froze people's bank accounts based on, they weren't supporting the COVID lockdowns, basically, right? All bank accounts frozen. Now, could that happen in Australia? Now, my point in the beginning was, I guess, and I even ask other people this, at what point do you decide to move out of Australia, right, with rules like that? And I think you sort of answered the question, didn't you?
The way I answered the question is, right now that's not being considered because my daughter right now in school.
Yes.
If we were at the point where, if it was really Orwellian and not just social media Orwellian, like,
dude, it's pretty bad now.
Well, like if I could objectively look at that and go like, I don't know, man.
Look, we're still living, right? We're still walking around freely.
Yeah.
But it's that frog in the boiling pot.
Yeah, it's also like they say, like, until they come after me, right? If it's not my people being targeted, then who cares?
Yeah,
right? Then all of a sudden my people are being targeted. I want to freak off to Dubai, right?
Yes.
But even that being said, like, if the danger is that it's that Orwellian here and people being pulled off the streets and being deported, and there's no due process whatsoever, that would scare the shit out of me. We would definitely consider.
You would be number one because you've got an accent.
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. But yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Get him.
Yeah. Yep. I'll be like, how you going, Cobber? I am fair dinkum.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what's happening in the UK, right? You've seen people with speech now. If you post something on Instagram, right, you can be literally the police.
That happened in COVID too, like as much as
in Australia too. Yeah,
definitely in Victoria it happened. Like there were people posting in Victoria, I don't care about the lockdowns, I'm going to be going to this march or whatever. There was and the police showed up at their house.
Were they like next door neighbors of yours or anything?
Yeah, it was literally me, and I went to jail. No, I told on them. Yes, correct.
No, but no, did you know people?
No, I didn't know anybody like that. This is like on whatever Herald Sun or whatever it was online, or what came up on Facebook feed. So that was happening, but I don't know if that was legit because There was a big thing happening at the moment. No one knew if people were going to die. I don't know. Don't know if that was an excuse. Like, your audience is definitely going to have opinions on that. But I guess the point is the power is there for them to leverage that. If that was legit, and it could have been, it shows that they have the power to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, guys, if you've stayed with this conversation all the way up till now, thank you for doing so. Leave a comment and let me know what you would actually do, or at what point would you consider leaving Australia? Is it something like more lockdowns, or is it an actual fully nationalized digital ID and a credit score system? Let me know in the comments.
This is a great conversation. Let's just keep going. You know, I don't like talking politics with you, but let's. Well,
let me, because we're going to run out of time.
Damn it.
I know, but I want you I want to add some more value to the people watching. As someone who's sort of fairly new into the Bitcoin, like you've allocated a lot, what would you say to people would be the things that you would maybe even do differently again? Like, would, for example, you not put a lot in now in dollar cost average or anything like that?
What would I do different? Like, in 2016, anything? I wouldn't have bought Litecoin. I would have bought a shit ton of Bitcoin.
So 2016, you wouldn't have bought Litecoin, right? So what's the takeaway? Like, don't buy altcoins?
I mean, at the time, that was looking like it wasn't an altcoin. It looked like it was like parity.
Taking over the system.
Yeah, it looked like it was parity. Well, like, at the time, it was viewed the same way Ethereum's viewed now, like the cousin of Bitcoin at the time. So people buy Ethereum. So.
Yeah, well, you know, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. I just saw a video of him only a few days ago. He had about 26 different coins. He's consolidated, but he's got a whole team of people behind him, and basically has come down to the conclusion he sold everything and he only has Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
Now, I don't own any Ethereum. I have in the past, but I don't own any Ethereum now. My second biggest holding is Solana. But let me just be clear, although I'm an absolute Bitcoin maxi, I'm selling all altcoins. Once I get out, I think actually what's going to happen is after this cycle, I'm going to get out of all altcoins, and I'll probably be 100%.
Well, let me talk about also, like, your question about what I would have done differently.
Yes.
I've always sort of taken pride in the fact that I don't give advice other than something I'm really skilled in, or I know, or at least I give the advice up to the level that I know in, right? And that means I don't, and this has been more and more something I've learned through my life, is not to gravitate towards sensationalism or someone big noting themselves as knowledge, right? So when I first got in, the first person that got me in gave me advice, which is just get into altcoins of stuff that you believe in. So that was the advice. Like, if you believe in,
and
Tomahawk
how are you supposed
missiles,
to believe in it?
If it's something
if
you're
the
into,
logo looks good,
it could be like the SpaceX or whatever. Well, the SpaceX is a bad example because they make a shit ton of money. But let's talk about something like you believe in copper cabling through Australia or whatever, and there's an altcoin that's based on copper cabling. So, like, I strongly believe in that. That's the reason I want to get in that, because I value that. Well, that's not really a financial and reason. So my thing, let me step back. The thing that I would suggest is find someone that's legit knowledgeable in whatever area of investment you want to be in, like with you with Bitcoin, and go to that. Someone you can trust that you know is knowledgeable, objectively knowledgeable, and then go to that one coin, which I would say is Bitcoin.
I just want to put this out there. Although, some people might see me as the all knowledge of Bitcoin, I actually don't see myself as the all knowledge of Bitcoin. I'm constantly learning more and more.
Well, here takes Bitcoin, this is something
now. Do I know probably more about Bitcoin than the new guy? Sure, but it's completely evolving for me, and that's what I love about Bitcoin is the more you learn about it, the more you start to, I guess, it's life changing. To be honest, you start to look at the world differently through Bitcoin.
So this is why you are the number one guy, I guess, in Bitcoin, because there's this thing that says, like, I don't there's like a reason, psychology, or there's a term around it, that stupid people think they're smart, right? They have no idea what they don't know about, but really smart people think they're stupid because they know that they have to keep reading. They know there's all this stuff they don't know, so they keep trying to learn and investing. So you just basically said, you don't think you're the number one guy. You don't think you know it all. That's perfect. That means you are smart on the subject, and people probably should follow you.
Right. Well, there you go. Well, thank you for that clarification.
I wasn't here to plug, by the way. So.
But, I've got so many, like, I keep collecting all these books now on Bitcoin related stuff. And I've just got this stack now at home. I'm like, oh my God, I've got so many books to get through. But I'm also so committed now to the Crypto Collective community. So I spend a lot of time in there, like responding to people and what have you, and doing videos and giving not advice, but things that are happening in the market, but not so much, oh, Bitcoin's going up or down. More things like, hey, this is what's happening in banking. If you want to get your money from the bank to to COINSTASH, for example, and big plug to COINSTASH, the #1 crypto exchange in the country, then this is the best on ramp to do it. So tactical, practical things within the space is what I like to talk about, and then I let people go on their own journey of understanding the fundamentals behind Bitcoin, because it evolves and it's always different too, depending on where you are in your life, right? If you're already a multi-bazillionaire, then it's kind of a different for you, because you might want to hey, I'm going to buy Bitcoin as a store of value because I don't want my money eroded away sitting in like minor interest accounts, right? But if you're someone who you're thinking about retiring in the next 20 years and you're looking at your super and you're like, shit, I've only got like 180 grand. I'm gonna be on the pension. I need to do something here. Then maybe allocating some of your super to Bitcoin might be the best option for you. So they're two different places, right? That the guy at the top's not thinking about retiring because he's good, right? But he doesn't want to lose his money either, so he's to allocate to Bitcoin because it's not being obviously debased. So yeah,
I think there's more room to move on the confidence too, because everybody says like do what the billionaires do, whatever. Some of the billionaires are starting to put their money to Bitcoin. There still are like people talking about gold or Coca-Cola shares or whatever they're talking about. I think Buffett took all the stuff away from banking or whatever. He's starting to do other things now. But as you're seeing more and more billionaires, they say follow them, invest in what they invest in, and they're starting to
like follow Pelosi.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
You follow Pelosi, don't you?
No, I don't. I don't follow any of those people.
Oh, you would have made a ton of money.
Damn it.
Followed the Pelosi trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you just have to probably follow the Trump trades.
He pretty much telegraphs everything he does.
He just tells it in his X, doesn't he? Yeah, like, I'm about to buy this. Or
this is my thing, right? We should probably buy into Tylenol right now, which is what Bayer or whatever makes it. Because
don't even joke about that. Dude. I mean, I've seen some of the women on there. They're throwing down these Tylenols.
Yeah.
In defiance of Trump saying it could be bad for your baby, and these are like pregnant women.
Yeah, this is what he does, right? He tanks the price of things, then quickly reverses that once it's low, after all his buddies invest in all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, maybe he actually just came out to say, because maybe there was actually a report out about it that was bad.
We'll just go historically speaking.
But I don't know why. Did he come out and say it, or did RFK Jr. come out?
Well, probably both. But I definitely saw Trump.
I'm just wondering, like, why would he have to come out and say that?
He says things. The health minister. He says things.
You see what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah, well, he did say it.
Before we go down too many rabbits, I think it's probably time we wrap this up because we are out of time. I want to thank you for coming in to talk to me about your life and times and your investment strategies, and give some insight to people who are brand new, particularly in the space, and maybe they can too move out of the socialist Republic of Victoria and at least move to Queensland.
Yeah, at least come to Queensland. Come to Queensland. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, you get to go to the beach. You pick my daughter up at the beach, pick her up at school, take her to the beach, have a good time.
Who doesn't want that? Seriously.
Anywhere you live is 10, 15 minutes away from a nice beach.
Actually, we have to put a gate up. No more Melbourneites.
Yeah.
It's full.
No more Victorians. Stay out.
It's full. All right, Matt. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Take care. Thanks for tuning in to Crypto Collective. If you've enjoyed this episode, the best way to show your support is to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify, and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. You can also find more of me at I'm Matthew Fraser on all social media platforms.